welcome back for more ancient teachings for a modern world. Remember, if you wish to skip my preamble, just click the blue timestamp down below to go directly to the reading of the text, and that text is Unfolding Consciousness. Thank you, and a very warm welcome to our brand new subscribers. We are sitting now at 6,031 as I speak, and I love and appreciate each and every one of you here at our modern day mystery schools. Our studies come from our primary textbook, which is Unfolding Consciousness, Exploring the Living Universe and the Intelligent Powers in Nature and Humans, written down lovingly over 20 years by Dr. Edi Bilimoria. An immense 4-volume set, brilliantly written, well-organized, collated, the ancient wisdom, perennial philosophy, Theosophy, with references and links to the thousands of years of the original teachings. Now, we've gotten approval for ebooks to be available for $24.99 all over the world. And remember, beautiful souls of the UC crew, we have a very special discount code just for you for the 4-volume hardback set. I got this from Shepard Walwyn a couple weeks ago. Type in "I want my copy!" and you get 25% off the hard volume sets. And remember, UC crew, only you get this discount. Type in "I want my copy!" and you get 25% off the 4-volume set. This is just for you, only through the Shepard Walwyn website. So the Academy Sophia will be launching officially in 2024, but we will be beginning next month with some preliminary courses with Tim Wyatt. Our first one is going to be Karma and Reincarnation, starting at the end of September. Stay tuned. The Key to Theosophy series is totally coming back. We're going to finish that. We're also going to be finishing Mental Magic by William Walker Atkinson, aka Yogi Ramacharaka. He also wrote The Kabbalion as the 3 initiates with 2 other people. Anyway, more on that coming up. And always remember, this channel is not about me, it's not about Eddie, it's not about Tim. This channel is about you and the ancient teachings. So let's take a look at the new Academy Sophia logo. Here, I chose this right here because remember, the platform that the teachings are to be taught from are meant for the teachings, never the teacher. And we are simply, Tim, Eddie, and I are simply fellow students working together with you to get these ancient teachings out into the world, make them relatable, understandable, and available to all for application in our modern world. So, welcome to Book Study 38. These Sunday book studies will always be free as they help get these teachings where they are meant to be. So if this resonates with you at all, and I've asked this before, I don't like asking, but please, if you can, like, subscribe, share, it helps get them out there. It really does. It's a YouTube thing. So we're going to recap what we started to cover in the book studies number 15 and 16 a few months back. You can revisit those. I will put them up here in a little link. And we're going to be dipping back into chapter 7. Is the brain a wet computer? Are humans lumbering robots? Since March of this year, it seems that AI seems to be infiltrating every aspect of our lives more than ever before. And there seems to be a lingering doom and gloom feeling about it. But fear not, we are on page 138. And our yellow post-it study notes for this week are: is it impossible for robots to outpace mankind? Can we teach an android about human emotions and responses? Humanoid performance is always programmed by a human, and grounds for long-term optimism. Thank you, Eddie. Remember, 25% off with the UC discount code called "I want my copy!" Type it in at the Shepard Walwyn website. Get a copy of these books for your library. Okay, so here we go. I love this so much. It's nowhere else I'd rather be. So are human beings indeed lumbering robots? Eddie writes. Are we then in reality nothing but this meat suit, lumbering around with robotic machines, or are we beings of flesh and blood, mind and consciousness? Perhaps someday humans will have to wage a war against computers. The film Space Odyssey foretold this with HAL. Remember HAL 9000? Here he is, a sentient computer. That means he had emotional software that was every bit humankind's equal. And he had full control over the spacecraft. When things went wrong and HAL endangered the crew's lives, then for the sake of the mission, the astronauts had to overpower the computer by dismantling his memory banks. One might predict a similar situation arising in the not-too-distant future when humans and computers will be in mortal combat, not by way of robotic soldiers wiping out humanity or drones coming in to destroy what is left of our civilization, but human beings themselves fighting against the dehumanization and depersonalization of life produced by excessive reliance, and I'm guilty too, and takeover of our lives by computers. It will be a struggle, but the victor is too obvious to mention here, Edi states. Enough is enough. It is high time we reclaim our spirituality and our humanity right now. Well said. Also, I wish to interject here that so much of the fear of AI destroying the world is really how we humans, in our selfishness, greed, and lust for control and fear, will use this intelligence against each other. It's not about the robots becoming sentient. It's really about how we will use them against each other. However, lingering doubts about humanity reigning victorious may still prevail. Certainly, the computationalists would side with the Hungarian-American psychologist. This is Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. Let me see if I say that. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi said that it is easier for us to imagine ourselves living among better appliances than any better human beings. So, the postlude, will robots overtake humanity? In view of all that has been covered in Unfolding Consciousness, Volume 2, Chapter 7, is it remotely possible that given the current exponential advances in technology, robots and androids will eventually outpace humanity? Is it? It is not an unreasonable question, Edi says. After all, Ray Kurzweil, the world-renowned expert of artificial intelligence, has confidently predicted that this will happen by 2029, that is less than 6 years away. At first glance, it seems that this might actually happen. The South Korean firm Samsung are due to open an artificial intelligence research laboratory in Cambridge to teach computers to recognize human emotions and improve the way they interact with us. So, would teaching computers to recognize human emotions be a step along the path to building a sentient computer like HAL from 2001: A Space Odyssey? Also, in April 2018, the UK government announced an investment of over £1 billion in artificial intelligence. The American multinational business magazine Fortune states that the companies involved include Microsoft, Hewlett-Packard, IBM, McKinsey, and Pfizer. Certainly, it would appear that the human-machine boundaries are becoming increasingly blurred. So, for example, if you were jogging through the woods close to Waltham, Massachusetts, in the United States, the chances that you might be joined by a fellow runner who appeared to traverse the forest path and negotiate this rocky terrain as nimbly as you could pop up next to you. Only after a few minutes, it may dawn on you that your companion was, in fact, a humanoid robot. Here he is, weighing 320 pounds, 6'2", and named Atlas. It was created by Google-owned Boston Dynamics. They created Atlas. Or, if you were to visit Nanyang Technological University in Singapore, you would initially be impressed by Nadine here, the receptionist dressed in a smart black suit. She parts her long hair neatly, smiles politely, and would greet you with a friendly hello, even remembering your name and your previous conversations that you had with her, and she will store them in her memory banks. Now, she appears to be proficient at her job and exhibits personality and moods and emotions. So if you were to tell her that you had a hospital appointment, she would naturally respond in a different tone than if you told her something about you be getting married. So you would be excused, however, for harboring a nagging feeling that Nadine appeared to be only slightly less human than human. Since she is one of a new generation of androids, they're getting smarter and smarter and better. Researchers at the Royal Society claimed that a computer had passed the Turing test. The Turing test, side note here, the Turing test is a method of inquiry in artificial intelligence that determines whether or not a computer is capable of thinking like a human being. And the test is named after Alan Turing, the founder of the Turing test, an English computer scientist, cryptanalyst, mathematician, and theoretical biologist. Researchers at the Royal Society claimed that a computer had passed the Turing test and thereby achieved human intelligence. Now, Philip Collins from the Times goes on to state that scientists are so far from comprehending the mystery of human consciousness that they are in no way equipped to create it. Go, Philip. Edi continues here, coming from an esteemed institution like the Royal Society, the fallacy of such a statement is deplorable. As the article pointedly questions, on what grounds is the Turing test a measure of human intelligence? As Collins observes, he continues, the fact a computer can fool a third of a panel of people into believing that its responses to a set of questions put to it are human ones merely shows the ingenuity of the human programmers. Besides, what exactly is meant, Edi asks here, by human intelligence? Something that ranges from below imbecile to genius and beyond? How can we gauge that? Again, from Philip Collins of the Times, the computer is just a big calculator. It can be no more said to be thinking than a clock can be said to telling the time. So well said. Let's say that again. The computer is just a big calculator. It can no more be said to be thinking than a clock can be said to actually telling the time. Alan Turing would surely have said much the same thing, that a computer could process any problem provided that it were given rules by human programmers for the solution. Now, Edi makes his final case for the overall supremacy of human over artificial intelligence by citing a highly revealing throwaway remark by Mark Zuckerberg. Now, everybody knows who Mark Zuckerberg is. If you don't, he's the CEO of Facebook. Inspired by the fictional superhero appearing in American comic books, Iron Man, who has his own robot assistant, Mark said he decided to install that in his home. He wanted to have the latest technology, and he wants it to be able to let his friends in by looking at their faces when they ring the doorbell. But here comes the rub, Edi says. I'll start teaching it to understand my voice to control everything in our home, music, lights, temperature, he wrote on his Facebook page. Now note the words Edi says here. I'll start teaching it. Emphasis is added here, teaching it. This is a giveaway, a perfect verification that however much robots may become a part of human lives and society, they will never surpass human beings because the one thing they singularly lack is the creative freedom that comes from the human heart, mind, and brain, not from computers wet or dry. Oh my God, let's say that again. This is the giveaway, a perfect verification that however much robots may become a part of human lives and society, they will never surpass human beings because the one thing they singularly lack is creative freedom, and that comes from the human heart and mind and brain, not from computers wet or dry. Thank you, Edi. Robots may well excel in any mechanically repetitive rule-based activity, but for anything involving human qualities of sensibility, judgment, creativity, or even imagination, robots can only mimic or impersonate the human behavior that has been pre-programmed into them, even by other robots. Perhaps, in the final analysis, always by humans as the first link in the chain. For example, Nadine in Singapore, in Nanyang. Okay? It does not take much human intelligence to see how emotive words like hospital or married can be pre-programmed into the Android software to produce appropriately different response tones. With the overzealous protagonists of artificial intelligence who like to tell the world that we humans, known as lumbering robots, will be outstripped by androids in a matter of 4 decades, will they find the courage of their own convictions by being content with an android mate for an intimate and loving physical relationship as an alternative or in preference to a human being of flesh and blood? Now, side note here, some people do. The sex robot industry is booming, but nonetheless, it is imperative for we humans not to become robot-like as a result of rampant technology, mechanizing and dehumanizing our lives. The real danger is not that robots will become more human-like, but that we humans will become increasingly more robot-like as a result of over-reliance on technology, excessive artificial intelligence, mechanization, and the machine characteristic of existence. Edi expresses here the tasteless fruits of a predominantly materialistic philosophy slowly eating away at our spiritual core of human life. It is easy then to become intimidated by such scary stuff, especially so nowadays, given the burgeoning transhumanist movement. I roll here, which is in Science, covered more thoroughly in Volume 3. We will go over that. We will get there. We will get there in our book studies. However, the resolution rests in a simple appeal to common sense, common among so-called ordinary folk, but a rare quality among the authorities of superscience because of the complete enslavement of wisdom by excessive intellect, by the mind, usurped by its emissary, or in occult language, and you guys will get this, the light of buddhimanas clouded by kamamanas. Remember, the higher mind clouded by the kama, desire mind. Right? Edi closes this chapter here by saying, as there are no grounds for concern in the long term, we may remain calm and revert our overriding theme about the unfolding of consciousness and the composition of man at all levels of his being. This chapter has provided evidence from a variety of sources to show that there is no question of human beings, which are made up of spirit and soul, flesh and blood, being overtaken by robots. So rest easy there. Meanwhile, reflecting on whether human intelligence can be equated to that of a computer, and whether sight and hearing are solely dependent on the physical eyes and ears, we close with the thoughts of one of the most celebrated Nobel physicists of our age, followed by the insights of a pioneer of the medical revolution of the Renaissance. Human mathematicians are not using a knowably sound algorithm like a computer in order to ascertain mathematical truth. Intelligence cannot be present without understanding. No computer has any awareness of what it does. That is Roger Penrose. And the power of sight does not come from the eye. The power to hear does not come from the ear, nor the power to feel from the nerves, but it is the spirit of man that sees through the eye and hears with the ear and feels by the means of the nerves. Wisdom and reason and thought are not contained in the brain. They belong to the invisible and universal spirit, which feels through the heart and thinks by means of the brain. All of these powers are contained in the invisible universe and become manifest through material organs, and the material organs are their representatives and modify their mode of manifestation according to their material construction. Because a perfect manifestation of power can only take place in a perfectly constructed organ. And if the organ is faulty, the manifestation will be imperfect, but not the original power defective. That is Paracelsus. Oh my God, I love these so much. Thank you so much for being here with me. Remember, these Sunday book studies will always be free, and we are coming up with lots of things happening on the channel. Going to be picking up the key to Theosophy. Once again, those book studies will continue. We're going to continue mental magic. Tim Wyatt will be joining us for the preliminary lecture series of Academy Sophia that is starting at the end of September, because we're going back to school in September. And then the official kickoff of Academy Sophia will be in 2024. And so there's lots going on. Remember, if you want a hardback set of these books, you can get 25% off because you're you. All right, because you're you. Type in "I want my copy!" and that is on the Shepard Walwyn website only, not on Amazon. Shepard Walwyn website. And if you're in America, Shepard Walwyn has a headquarters in the middle. I think it's in Chicago, so you can actually get yours shipped from there. You don't have to pay shipping from the UK. Anyway, I love you very much. Thank you for being here with me. These mean everything to me, as do you. And I will see you next week. I love you. Mwah.